Katie Books Productions presents an original podcast, Manhunt, written, produced, and narrated by Earl Sewell. The following morning, Carmen was busy with housekeeping chores. She had to get her bedroom in order, clean up her bathroom, and gather up items that needed to be dropped off at the cleaners. Carmen reflected on her dinner yesterday with Luther and came to the conclusion that she really enjoyed the conversation they'd had. Carmen was relieved that Luther didn't allow the fire and his job loss to stop him from moving forward and doing what was necessary to survive. That was a commendable quality about him, and, in her mind, that was an indication of someone who was tenacious and persistent. After spending the enlightening evening getting to know him better, her observations of Luther caused her to analyze whether or not she'd ever consider having a romantic relationship with him. Carmen understood that Luther was rough around the edges and needed to gain more confidence in himself as well as build his social skills. The fact he didn't have any children was a huge plus because she wouldn't have to deal with any baby mama drama. The last semi-serious relationship was with a man named Frank, who was recently divorced and the father of 2 kids. Frank was always short on cash and constantly complained about his ex-wife and all of the drama she was creating for him. I still can't get over the fact that he took me out for dinner at a pizza parlor and used coupons to cover the meal, Carmen muttered to herself as she picked up several articles of clothing that were on the floor next to the bed. Then, when Frank and I got back to the car, he asked me if he could borrow $300. Carmen griped at the memory of that moment. After she ended all communication with Frank, Carmen added a new rule to her dating guide. Don't date recently divorced men. She placed that rule right next to the one about men with multiple children by different women. Carmen walked into her living room and placed her iPod on the docking station and then turned it on. She listened as Jill Scott's voice filled the room and popped her fingers to the groove of the music. I think overall that Luther is a genuinely decent person, she said to herself as she walked over to a window and drew back the curtains to allow sunlight in. All he truly needs is a strong, loving, and nurturing woman like me in his life. Listening to Jill Scott gave Carmen a burst of energy as she decided to wash the loads of laundry she'd been neglecting. She went about the task of sorting all of the clothes, and when she was done, she realized that all of her efforts were in vain because the stackable washer and dryer unit that was in her condo was malfunctioning. Shit, she hissed as she surveyed the piles of clothes on the floor. I should just take this shit up to the laundromat, she said, although she truly hated the idea of lugging all of her belongings out of the house. Well, one thing is for sure, I'll be able to finish reading my novel by Angie Daniels, she told herself. Carmen walked into her kitchen to grab some large bags from the cupboard. It was at that moment she remembered that her car still hadn't been repaired. Damn it! Carmen's sudden burst of energy was giving way to total frustration. At that moment, something came to her. Nikki. I'll call Nikki and have her take me, She spoke aloud. She located her cell phone and called Nikki, but received a message that her number was temporarily disconnected. Carmen then called Frida to see if she could put Nikki on the phone for her. "Hello?" A groggy voice answered the phone. "Frida, is that you?" asked Carmen, unable to clearly distinguish her voice. "No, bitch. It's Jennifer fucking Lopez." Yep, Carmen thought. That's ignorant-ass Frida. "Where's Nikki at?" she asked. "In her goddamn skin." Frida began snorting on the phone. She was attempting to extract a thick lump of mucus from her sinuses. "Ha ha, very funny. I need to speak to her." Carmen was persistent. "About what?" asked Frida. "None of your business." Carmen got snippy with her. "Hey, chica, you're calling my damn house. This is my damn phone, not hers. Her credit is so bad she can't even get her name on one. Her ass needs to hurry up and put some more minutes on her pay-as-you-go phone." "Hold on a minute," Frida said. "Just tell Nikki to call me when she gets a moment, okay?" Carmen asked. "I'm not her damn secretary. Call her ass back later on when she gets up. You know damn well she's been shaking her ass all night." "Jewel should try coming down to the spot and shake your ass." "Oh, never mind, I forgot. You don't have a lot of ass." Frida began laughing at her own joke. "I have enough ass to do what needs to be done." Carmen wasn't about to take any of Frida's bullshit. "Well, you need to shake that money maker a little harder, girl. But then again, that really isn't your thing." Frida joked. "You don't know what my thing is. For all you know, I could be living a secret life. I could be a damn madam. As a matter of fact, I could use a workhorse like you in my stable. Come work for me so I can put your hot ass on foot patrol. Come on, I know you'd be a good money maker." Carmen let Frida know that she could get raw when the occasion called for such harsh means of communication. "Oh, shit. Where did that come from? You went all pimp on me." Frida laughed. "So, it is true what they say about girls who look all conservative. You bitches are really undercover freaks. I'm willing to bet that I'm freakier than you'll ever be." Carmen was filled with fire and feistiness. "Well, listen here, freak nasty. Nikki's new man Packer has just opened up a club called Big Daddy's, and he's throwing a Freak of the Week party. Why don't you flip yourself inside out and let that freaky bitch you've been keeping under lock and key come out and play? The party is taking place on Friday. They'll have vendors there also, selling sex toys and all other kinds of shit." "I just might check that out," Carmen said, feeling bold and daring. "Wow. Bring it on, bitch. I'd love to see your narrow ass get turned out the way I turned out Nikki." "Frida, you don't have the right equipment to turn me out," Carmen said. "You don't know what I've got. Besides, there's more than one way to turn a bitch out." "Whatever, Frida." Carmen dismissed Frida's bold comment. "Hey, if you're too scared to come out for a night of erotic fun, I understand." Frida taunted her. "You know what? I just might surprise your ass. Give me the address of the place." Frida's challenge emboldened Carmen. "All right, freak nasty, you have an ink pen?" Frida asked. "Yeah," Carmen answered. Frida gave Carmen the address and all of the details that she needed. Now, can I speak to Nikki? Carmen asked. Nikki ain't here, Frida answered truthfully. Where's she at? Carmen asked once again. And please don't tell me she's in her skin. She's probably with Packard. You know, she has a thing for him. That dude must have a golden cock or something. Because Nikki will do anything for him, Frida said. What's he like? Carmen asked. Packard? He's a real pistola, Frida said, with respect and envy. What's that supposed to mean? Carmen asked. Honey, you don't cross men like Packard. If he says bark like a dog, you better start barking. Packard has money, influence, and power. He's a shady son of a bitch, but he's also well connected, Frida said. If he's all that, then why is he dealing with Nikki? Carmen asked. Shit, girl, do I have to tell you everything? Can't you figure it out? Fuck, he's an older guy, she's a younger girl. What the fuck you think they're doing? Fuck you, Frida. Carmen snapped at her. No, fuck you, bitch. Frida annoyed Carmen to no end because she was so unpredictable and catty. Before Carmen could respond to Frida's last insult, Frida hung up. Carmen called back right away, but the phone rang without being answered. No, that trifling bitch didn't hang up on me. Carmen didn't want to believe Frida had actually just done that. Ugh! Carmen grumbled with irritation. Carmen decided to call a cab to take her to the laundromat on 53rd Street. Once Carmen arrived, she dragged her heavy sacks of clothes inside and found a few available washers. She broke a $20 bill in the change machine and started her loads. Later, she was folding clothes. After she was all done, she placed all of her belongings back in the bags and placed a call for a cab. No sooner than the phone had begun to ring, Carmen spotted Luther strolling along the sidewalk. Carmen waved to him, and Luther approached. Hey, Carmen, what's up with you today? Luther asked as he stepped inside with a smile on his face. Well, right now, I need to see about getting these bags of clothes back home. A sister could use a lift. Do you have a car? Damn, I don't have a ride, or I'd be happy to give you a lift. Carmen could tell that Luther was embarrassed by the fact that he didn't own a car. I tell you what, I'll carry your bags back home for you. Luther, no, that's okay. The bags are way too heavy to carry all the way back to 58th Street, Carmen said. Where are you headed to? Carmen asked. I was actually on my way to the hardware store to pick up some tools, Luther said. Speaking of tools, do you still have the stuff I purchased to get my car fixed? I really need to get it repaired, Carmen said. If you'll let me, I'll take care of your car for you today, Luther said. Oh, I wasn't implying that I wanted you to fix the car today. I was seriously going to get the parts from you and have someone else kind of do it. I know you must be very busy trying to replace all of the belongings you lost. Carmen wanted to be understanding of Luther's time. No, don't worry about that. I'll fix your car today. Just let me stop and pick up a few things, and I promise you that later today, your car will be up and running. Luther smiled warmly at Carmen. Okay. Carmen gave in. Get what you need, and I'll call a car service so that you can ride back to my side of the neighborhood. My car is parked on the street, Carmen said, smiling back at Luther. Carmen's block was lined with tall trees whose branch leaves just provided the right amount of shade on a sunny day. The scent of freshly cut grass and flowers wafted in the air, along with the sound of wild parakeets, sparrows, and a red cardinal. "Is this an apartment building?" Luther asked as they exited the cab. "No, it's a condo," Carmen said as she paid the cab driver while Luther removed her bags from the trunk. "Damn, girl, you living large." Luther was impressed with the stateliness of the building. He thought he was living pretty well in the section of Hyde Park that he was in, but now he realized he was in the low-rent district. "I live on the first floor. I can get the bags up the steps on my own. I just need you to carry them over to the door." Carmen picked up a smaller bag and began heading towards the building. "I would invite you up for something to drink, but my house is a mess. I was in the middle of cleaning when I decided to do all of this laundry," Carmen said as she opened the door, which gave them access to the vestibule of the building. "That's okay." Luther wiped the beads of sweat from his forehead with the back of his hand. Carmen suddenly felt bad because he was sweating so profusely. "Tell you what, I'll go upstairs and get you a cold towel and a cold drink. How does that sound?" Carmen asked. "Do you have a beer?" Luther asked, hoping she'd say yes. "No, I'm afraid I don't. But I do have wine coolers. Will that work?" Carmen hoped her alternative was satisfactory. "That's even better," Luther said. Carmen dragged her belongings up the stairs and inside her condo. Once inside, she grabbed one of her face towels and soaked it with water. She wrung out the excess, then walked into the dining room and down the left corridor and into the kitchen. She pulled a wine cooler out of the refrigerator before heading outside to reunite with Luther. "This is a really nice area over here," Luther said once again. "It's quiet and vagrants aren't hanging out on the corner with nothing to do. Shit, I wouldn't mind living like this." "You never know what may happen. You're getting things together, and anything is possible when you focus on your goals." Carmen truly wanted to be encouraging to Luther. She thought that by providing him with those few extra words, she was in some small way helping to rescue him from his unfavorable situation. "Yeah, you're right," Luther replied, thinking about how much he'd love to move in with her. She could have the responsibility of the mortgage, and he'd help out wherever he could. "Perhaps I could pay the light bill or the phone bill," Luther thought. "So, where's your car at?" Luther asked, feeling a strong desire to be her man, especially now that he knew where she lived. "It's over there, parked on the corner of the intersection." Carmen pointed to the direction of her car. The two walked towards it. After about an hour and a half, Luther stood up and said, "Voila, Miss Carmen. Your vehicle is fixed. Let's take it for a spin to make sure it's responding the way it should." "Yes, yes, yes!" Carmen shouted with glee because she was happy her car was running. Luther gathered up the tools he'd purchased and got in the passenger side. "Can a brother get a lift back home?" Luther asked playfully. "You most certainly can," Carmen said with a voice filled with joy. Carmen drove Luther back to his apartment and pulled over in front of his building. "Well, thank you very much, Luther. You just don't know how much you've helped a sister out." Carmen was truly grateful. "You're very welcome." Luther paused as he shifted in his seat to look at her more closely. He studied her caramel skin, her full lips, her light brown eyes. He felt his heart flutter a little bit. He liked Carmen and wanted to see her again, but wasn't sure how to express it. Then, an idea hit him. "Say, maybe sometime you and I could hang out up at the lakefront and chill. You know, just chit-chat. Luther offered what he thought was a casual date that Carmen would agree to. "I like that, Luther. Maybe next weekend we can hook up. Then you can tell me about how your job interviews went." "Yeah, let's do that. Because I got a good feeling my life is about to change in a very good way." Luther couldn't help smiling at her. It was the way she was making him feel that had him dancing with joy on the inside. "I'll give you a call next Saturday, okay? Let me have your phone number," Carmen said as she removed her cell phone and plugged in the number he'd given her. "Got it," she said as Luther got out of the car. "You take care now," Luther said as he stepped away. "See you later, Luther," Carmen said as she pulled off. "He may have more potential than I originally thought," Carmen said jokingly as she drove back home.